and welcome back to Can We Talk with Jewel podcast, proudly sponsored by fundraisingcup.org Ministries. Today, we are here with a dear guest, Mr. Eric Ramirez, who is a targeted individual. And we're so honored to have him on our show today to share some of his experiences in being a targeted individual and things that are currently going on, I guess, behind the veil that many people are unaware of. And we're hoping to expose here on this podcast. So, welcome, Eric, and thank you for being on our podcast.
Hey, how you doing, Joel? It was great talking backstage. Got the momentum. I thought we were in the podcast already. You're like, no, we're gonna start now.
Absolutely. Side note, guys, when I talk to the guests backstage before I bring them on board, I kind of build a rapport with them so they get to know me personally. And after talking with Eric, and just validating his story and experiences, I think we built an understanding and connection, and sharing things that we've gone through. And I'm so excited really to have him on board to share his story because there are many targeted individuals that are timid to share what they've experienced, largely because they don't know who to trust. And I want to applaud Eric today for being courageous and bold in his fight back against those that are trying to silence him and harass him on a daily basis.
Sure,
So,
sure. Well,
Eric,
thank
can you tell us a little about yourself,
you. Yeah.
please?
I grew up in Los Angeles by South Pasadena. I've always had an aptitude for business and wanting to do better in life. Oh, I have 9%. And so those accessories have always been the minority, but my parents were well off. My parents split when I was young, but my mom was a hardworking single mother. But I knew I always was the outsider looking in as any minority when they're a kid. So that aptitude led me into life and good work ethics. And then from there, spent a little time in the military. Came back home. I did my first business when I was 20, and I've had different businesses since then. The most recent one is Swift Supply Chain Company, Swift Warehouse Services. Also, me and my wife run that. Just got married 2 weeks ago, actually. We have four
Congratulations.
kids we have. I have one with my previous marriage, and yeah, for right now we've just been targeted. The last 4 months, I think we came across a lot of information accidentally, but it wasn't like we were investigating it. It just kind of fell on our lap, and we're just victims of our own environment, really. And
Mhm.
we're back, and we're not scared. I told my handlers, whoever's handling this, we're not. I'm not scared if I have to die to get my voice out there, because I mean, obviously, I don't want to die, but if they're gonna kill me, then I can't help that. That was God's work, and I was sent here to defend that as a spiritual defender, really, of the free world.
That's great. Can you, Eric, tell us how would you define being targeted?
Just a person put on a list maliciously, or could have been accidentally. It could have been in a retaliatory state.
Mhm,
And there's different TIs with different beliefs. I think the
mhm,
program is ran through different levels where it's
yeah,
like, okay, here's the paranoia stage, here's the white car stage, here's the harassment. So they better
mhm.
figure it out fast. And I think each target individual has a capacity and their abilities to figure it out.
Absolutely. So, what stage would you say you believe you're on?
I believe in very vastly. I have really, really intuitive and energy that could see things to the point where I could see my handlers in where they may be, what they're doing, even in some cases what they're wearing. Sounds crazy,
Mhm,
but I can hear in the background actually echoing, because I have a voice to skull technology and BCI is connected where it's mind reading technology, so
uh-huh.
I could actually communicate with mine. Plus, they did a pretty sloppy job, if you will. So I know they're local people from the U.S. military, and so it was easy to identify them really quickly.
Can you share with us how do you believe you landed on this watch list or targeted list, if you will?
I believe just in a retaliatory, maybe I was out looking for some of my military history on what happened back then or something. I think somebody maybe got news of that, and and maybe wanted to put a stop or hiatus or a stop to it really, and they access my phone, or not my phone, I don't know, my IP address, which led the handlers to me for a sub rosa investigation. I believe I'm going to a sub rosa investigation possibly, and usually when there's a sub rosa investigation, gang stalking will heighten that because if you haven't committed a crime, they have to
Mhm.
manufacture, create.
Yeah, with staged events.
Yeah.
Have you experienced any stage confrontations, issues with law enforcement, things of that nature?
Oh, constantly, yeah, all the time. I was beat up by three kids the other day, staying here in Palm Springs. I don't know, they were possibly with the gangs. I don't know. I can't really pinpoint, and I try to be pretty rational. I can blame everything on gang stalking, but if you don't put a stop to blaming everything on gang stalking, like they didn't give me the right bread because they're part of the gang stalking. You start going. That's when you start going to the delusional state and just assuming everything. So you have to watch the stages you go through because you can fall into a category that they wanted you and trapped you to fall into, with a delusion, hypocrisy, empathy, whatever stage, and that's how they control your mind. So you have to be spiritually free minded.
I wanted to ask you, have you noticed any signs of targeting through the devices that you have? I think they let us right into that one.
Yeah, actually, all of my devices, it's gotten somewhat better. But the first devices that were hacked were the point where I couldn't even call out. If I was talking to an attorney, they would hang up the phone.
Wow.
If, yeah, if I was logged into some kind of resourceful, even attorneys, I believe they call a lot of attorneys when I called them, and they would tell them not to help me because they would seem very empathetic at first, and then thereafter they call you like, oh no, no, we can't represent you. Or blocking email. My attorney's like, I never got this email from you. I'm like, I
Yeah.
sent it earlier. You know.
Yep. Sometimes it's shifted into draft or deleted entirely.
hmm
Yeah, we
What I've
get
been
it.
is they've been blocking public officials I've been trying to reach out to, and they'll say that the other blocker, the recipient, blocked me. I'm like, Gavin Newsom's not going to block me, or the police
Wow.
going to block me.
Wow. What about law enforcement? Have you tried to reach out to law enforcement for any assistance?
Oh yeah, they're part of the gang stalking. I can totally. When I reach out, they threaten. They said if I call them again to report the gang stalking, that
Mhm.
put me in jail or put me in a hold. So they're like, "When's the last time you were on a 50
Wow.
hold?" I'm like, "What?" So you can't even call them now, which is why I'm suing the Los Angeles Police Department.
Oh my goodness. So you have an attorney.
Oh yeah, I have an attorney, and we're pushing full fit. And sometimes, even the stages you go through with the gang stalking got me questioning: Is he really my attorney? Is he not? But I could trust the guy. He's a good guy, just really busy. And God bless his soul. He's like, I sent him so much. He's like, I don't think he knew the magnitude of. Okay, you're talking President Trump. You're talking Gavin Newsom. You're talking
Yeah.
Paul. Yes, what I unfolded is up there, probably more than any other targeted individual in California, to the point where if they're trying to kill me, I must know too much.
Wow. Wow. So I believe you mentioned that you have experienced directed energy weapons.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of our viewers are not familiar with that, or
Look,
um just in baby steps trying to understand what does that entail. Can you give our audience a brief description as you know it or as you feel it?
directed energy at first I thought was, well, actually, I thought it was more radiation. In some cases, it could be a form of radiation because it sends electronic pulses through any kind of gamma. There's different forms of radiation, which is the sonic wave. There's radiations where, in my case, a laser was shot through my body and my head, and most of my main organs, which is my brain, my heart, my liver, and my throat. And from that, they could remotely control the bleeding internally of those organs
Yeah.
through a device that they use. The device is used probably through signal or
Mhm.
EMF, electromagnetic force.
Yes.
Mhm.
Dealing a lot with frequencies, and the areas that you described, surprisingly on a spiritual level, deals with your chakras. ironically. So a lot of times they're aiming up through your pineal gland and then areas going down your spine through
Oh,
different organs.
now that you say that, yeah. At first, I thought it was just retaliatory, shoot him wherever he could get him. And then now, yeah, that has happened. And now that you mentioned that, that it must be because it's all intertwined.
Yeah.
For, yeah.
There's a spiritual aspect going on as well. And I know that as many targeted individuals are trying to piece together, I'm a spiritual guide as well. And so I try to help them understand that spirituality and divinity abuse is also being intertwined with what's going on. And I think that's the piece that can help people understand some of what they're experiencing on a spiritual level.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, and that's and the spiritual part. I pretty much not have it figured out. You could it's kind of it comes with the territory. The part that gets me is where it went from physical to attempted murder now. So it's like, okay, this is not spiritual now. These are guys trying to kill me with directed energy weapons
Yeah.
to the point where my body got entirely cold, and I could hear them in the next room saying, "We need to get him to a hospital. Like he's all over the media already. People are gonna know we killed him because I
Hmm.
know who they are."
Well, the ultimate goal is to unalive someone without any footprint.
Oh yeah,
And there's the two ways in which they can do this is either through an energy weapon usage, which can't really be detected with the average citizen or the average law enforcement officer. It'll look like you just have nerve damage or, like you mentioned, aneurysms and bleeding from your internal organs and head, right? And then the other way are it is a spiritual attack, and that's when they go to an occultist and they take your garments, your personal garments, or cut out pieces of your garments, and have the occultists try to bring death on you.
right.
And I know that's on a deeper level spiritually, but the whole goal is to get it accomplished without a footprint.
Right, right. Yeah, and that's the main thing I noticed where it's in a form where I can't just go. I try to go to the doctor, and I could hear the doctors from like, I don't know, 3, 4 rooms away talking
Hmm.
to him, saying he knows he's bleeding internally. What are we going to tell him? And they tell him, like they said,
Unbelievable. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just in disbelief
oh, yeah,
that this is the ethics of. I mean, I thought our doctors had to sign ethical
oh,
forms when becoming a doctor, and it's just appalling to me that um, this discreet mission of unaliving innocent civilians, it supersedes their moral and ethic compass.
this cute,
Oh, look at him.
cutie
I'm
pie.
so glad he joined us on our podcast. Is it a he or she?
It's a he. Yeah, we have another one running around here, and yeah,
Oh my goodness, that's so adorable. Hi.
he's a target.
I'm sure the companionship of that support dog helps you a lot.
I'm so heartbroken. We had to get rid of one of our dogs. He was a beagle, because obviously we're moving a lot more now because they've taken our
Hmm.
home.
Yeah,
And we had to get rid of him because he's a little bit bigger. And I'm like, now I have to get rid of him. Like I've gotten rid of everything: my sanity, my business, my Corvette, my truck, everything. And it's like I'm
yeah,
still here, not arrested, and I haven't,
yeah,
committed suicide or anything. Not that I would ever do that, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah,
And count your blessings because that's one of the main signs. Sad to say that you've been targeted is usually um major theft. I mean, all of your property either being damaged or stolen.
yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard coming out of this poverty that you're being pulled into and setups, but I'm so happy to hear that you're fighting back and you sound so strong in how you're going about it.
I think
And
I put them in their place, and they're actually questioning their own sanity at this point. And I
mhm.
can hear them saying, "I think he is the chosen one." And it sounds crazy to even hear that. And I don't even, I'm not big
No,
like that or anything, but I think we're all in shock to my capabilities. Where I'm guessing what they had for lunch the next day. I'll send them something
yeah.
like, somebody had Quiznos yesterday.
Hmm.
The whether they're gassing me up or not, I can feel an energy that what I'm saying to them is authentic and that they believe it to be true, and it's really crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finding out that a lot of targeted individuals are gifted individuals, and that's how I kind of found my niche as a spiritual guide with fundraisingcup.org. Because, like you said, I too did not know that I was spiritually gifted. I thought I just had strong intuition, and I would say things and it'll come to pass, and I'm just like, oh, maybe that happens with everyone. um, but then one day it was like a switch that turned on, and then I started having dreams. And this is, far later in life, but it was triggered by a lot of targeting. And I'm hearing that from other people as well, that their gifts became enhanced.
Mhm.
And I do think that's one thing that a lot of people may find they have in common with
Mhm.
each other and don't even realize it on a spiritual level, that's one of the reasons why, is that you could possibly see something that you weren't meant to see, whether it be in a dream, whether it be in a vision telepathically. Um but being a gifted individual where you can see things that are happening behind the veil is problematic, because there's so much corruption and so many deals that are done under the table that they don't want people to see or hear about. And the idea that someone could expose it through a gift given to them from the Most High God is terrifying.
Yeah, I think, and sometimes I think that, oh, street. Sometimes I think that, and I also think, is it really that, or I think we're very intuitive, and then maybe their frequency or whatever they're using, it's working so well that it's obviously going to leave us a little bit more perceptive to the energy around us through electromagnetic frequency or force, for what have you. I think there's something going on in the brewing in California, something big, whether it be the war that's going to kick off, nuclear war, something. I came across some bit of information to the point where I have airplanes flying above me cooking my organs, so I don't talk,
Mhm.
but I reached out to the media before it happened, so now we're at a standstill. Like, can't kill him. And he knows too much information of what's going on in a big a world standpoint for California. I think I'm protecting California from maybe whatever new administration may be leading into that, because California pays the highest federal taxes, and I think Governor Newsom is under attack, and I think he doesn't even know what's going on in California with immigration, people disappearing, homeless people disappearing.
Yeah.
Um, I do believe I have the key to save California, and I have information that's killing minorities in California so that it could be all Republican, if you will. And I think I have that information, and that's how high of capacity of a targeted individual I am. Um, and sometimes it scares me, but now I'm comfortable because they can't kill me, because I already reached out to
Hmm.
the media like yourself. Thank you for having me, by the way. Um,
Absolutely.
Now they're like, what do we do with the guy? To the point where I'm negotiating with them through V2K.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, have you had any support groups or individuals that have come to your aid that are also being targeted?
I have not, and I believe maybe because they're blocking, maybe the email, or I've joined some groups recently. That's how I found yours, and I haven't really gotten to that point because, like most other individuals, they were carrying